Live from Thornbury Creek at Oneida, this is Locker Room with Local 5 Sports Director Bert Griffin. Now your host, Bert Griffin.
The Packers have positioned themselves for a late season run. And after putting up a season-high 38 points, the ground game is leading the way in Green Bay. And now a Thanksgiving date with the Dolphins at Lambeau looms large. Get ready for another edition of Locker Room. Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Locker Room. Happy Thanksgiving, even though it is a couple days away, a very short work week for the green and gold. We'll talk more about that with our special guest, Daniel Ruettiger. If that sounds familiar, if you saw the movie Rudy and you're of this age, you know who I'm talking about. Notre Dame walk-on, one of the greatest success stories in the history of football. He will be our guest tonight. However, the Packers right now, 8-3, sitting pretty, looking into that Thursday night Thanksgiving game against the Dolphins here at Lambeau Field. For more on that, let's welcome our co-host of the night, Super Bowl champion and former defensive back with the Pack, Jared Bush, everyone.
What's up, dude?
What's up, buddy?
All good?
Looking sharp as
Appreciate
always.
it. Feel like
Got
for
that
the holidays.
nice jacket on.
Yeah.
What would you even
Appreciate
call that? It's like checkered but not.
It's checkered, but not. They call it tartan.
Tartan.
Tardane. Yeah, yeah.
Like
very
Tartan.
festive. I felt like it was festive. You know, I felt like it's very fitting.
You know, I don't even have these conversations with Harry. Like, we're just like, oh, you got a blue suit, I'm wearing black. Okay,
No.
you're wearing gray. Like, you come every week. And that watch, by the way.
Yeah, you know,
Nice.
it was a gift from Al Harris. Yeah, when he made the Pro Bowl. Yeah.
Former Packer,
Former
Al
Packer.
Harris.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hall of Famer.
Coach.
Coach. Yeah.
And still getting after. Is he still with at KC?
I think
he was with
he's
Andy
with
Reid
Dallas.
for a while,
He's
right?
with Dallas
He's
now.
Dallas with Mike.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy. Yeah.
Hey, big win for those guys.
Yeah, that was huge.
Against
Rush.
Washington.
Yeah.
We don't care about them right now.
Yeah.
We're talking green and gold. Look, what they did, we get it. San Fran was a little bit undermanned. No Brock Purdy,
Right.
starting quarterback. You've got an advantage on defense automatically. They also didn't have their best defensive lineman,
Right.
and Nick Bosa, and then, oh, by the way, multi-Pro Bowler Trent Williams.
Yeah.
You're missing your best lineman, your quarterback, and now they did have McCaffrey.
They did.
They played pretty well, and they did just enough. And I would say this, on Sunday, they went right down the field and established their will without getting cute, without getting funky. They just said, we're going to run the football and try to stop us.
Yeah, and that's what you love to see. You know, being the NFC North, they definitely pride themselves in that black and blue conference, meaning establishing the run, right? So I feel like when you establish that run, that really dictates and determines a certain demeanor as well as a philosophy of what type of football team are you going to be. Are you pound them and ground them? Are you an air assault team? And we established that this past Sunday.
Well, and not only that, Tucker Kraft was a hammer on the little tight end screen or bubble, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a little release route, hiding, and he, boom, but he hammered it in.
He did.
Then Josh Jacobs, and they ran the show on that drive, and then 17-0, I thought, man, this might be an absolute blowout.
Yeah.
George Kittle, he's one of the best tight ends. He has that touchdown at the end of the half. It's 17-7, but this game really was never in doubt, was it? Like, it felt like when you were watching it, like, they might put up 50. They put up 38, and they kind of took the foot off the gas at the end.
They did, and I think we are definitely susceptible to that, Burke. And it's proven in the past that when we get up, we kind of let the foot off the gas. And my suspect was that the 49ers were going to slowly creep in through the back door. But at the same time, where it didn't show was that we were able to put that knife in that dagger, I guess as Wayne Larrivee would say. We put the dagger finally to finish and play all 4 quarters. And that's what you want to see, not only against good teams, but average team as well. So I think that was a true testimony moment. Would you like to see Brock Purdy in their full repertoire? Yeah, you do. I think that Kyle Shanahan is a fantastic coach. Can't take anything away from him. At the same time, I think that was a tall task for him to ask to go against Green Bay's best.
Well, you know this, and I know it's cliche speak, but it's sometimes not when you play or who you play; it's when you play them.
Correct. Yeah.
Who is on the field at that time?
For sure.
They have to. They don't. They're 8-3. They're sitting good going into Thanksgiving night. You know what time it is?
What time is it, Bert?
Time now for our pivotal performance, powered by local IBEW 158. We mentioned Josh Jacobs, but this one goes to the offensive line. Look, 3 touchdowns running the football with number 8 in the backfield at the goal line. They bullied up and just punched it in when they had to. Time of possession, over 36 minutes. They only gave up 2 sacks, but really neither one of them hurt them at the time, given the situation. The Packers' offensive line right now, I'd say top 3 or 4 in the league.
Yeah, they were definitely pushing the pile, Burke. You saw it, especially towards the south end zone with Sean Ryan at the left guard.
Yeah.
And just really just pushing that defender into the back end zone.
It was like a rugby scrum.
Yeah, and so that's what you really want to see. Now, I want to see sustainability. I want to see long term. I want to see consistency in that. Josh Jacobs, I think he can be a premier back for a really long time for the Packers. I hope that's the case. I love seeing him run the ball, especially that spin move against the safety.
Yeah.
I thought that was phenomenal.
It looked like Madden.
Yeah, right. And so
that was crazy.
So I hope the training staff, they're massaging him in all types of ways to make sure that he's healthy.
This is a family show.
No, but just keeping them healthy, and whatever kind of practitioner wants to work on him, make sure he's healthy on Sundays.
All right, look, you are a free agent success story. Tonight, it's a condensed week. The players are still doing meetings Monday and Tuesday practice. It's a short week, so we always try to have a special guest on the show. One of the greatest football and life success stories is this guy coming up. His name is Daniel Ruettiger. He's known as Rudy. Rudy. Yeah, that Rudy. He's our guest tonight on Locker Room. Welcome back to Locker Room. That is a bobblehead of a young, good-looking Daniel Ruettiger. Ruettiger. I say that because I went to college with a guy named, Rudinger, his son Preston Ruettiger. But Daniel Ruettiger, Mr. Rudy. How you doing, sir?
Good.
Appreciate you coming on the show.
We met earlier.
Yes. Last year.
You
were sitting in the crowd.
That's right.
First of all, explain this story because your buddy Jerry, from De Pere,
the cheese man.
You guys have a cheese company together, and you're like, yeah, we're not taking. I'm like Rudy is in the crowd, and just tell us how you come to Green Bay and became friends with all these wonderful Packer fans.
Well, I have a Green Bay connection. A lot of my friends played for Green Bay. The gentleman who coaches the quarterback, I was his teammate, Tommy Clements. So you always have that connection, right? Yeah. And good people. I met Jerry. I came in and spoke to Jerry, to his company, and we just became friends. And we started collaborating, and here we are.
And I got to ask you this, and Jarrett, I know this is like Wisconsin stuff that you might not get, but you've made this your home too, so you will figure this out.
Yeah.
Gillespie?
Gordy
Gillespie, who, by the way, Ripon
is,
baseball coach, Gillespie's. I'm related to the Gillespies through marriage. I don't know if you knew that. We haven't talked about that.
No.
But tell us about the story. You grew up in Illinois, Joliet, right?
Yeah.
And he was your high school coach.
Right. I'm one of 14. And
wait, did you guys hear that? 14 kids.
I'm Catholic.
A lot of cold winter nights.
Yeah, cold winter, right? So anyhow, Gordy, who coached us, was probably one of the best human beings you can be around.
Yes, I interviewed him.
He would always empower your thoughts. He would never put you in a bad position to think that you made a mistake. Don't worry, you'll be fine. He would always talk to you like you're going to do better, and that always stuck with me. His attitude, his spirit. And when I went to the Navy after high school. I was working. I went to the Navy. I came back from the Navy, worked, and my friend he died on the job. So I went to see Gordy. He was painting his eaves. I'll never forget this. And I was about 40 feet up. I said, hey, Coach. I said, what's up, Rudy? I said, I'm going to go to Notre Dame and play football. You could do it. I thought he was going to drop the paint on my head. But because of that spirit, you move forward.
Right.
And whether you think you could do it, someone empowered that thought. It's like when I was in the Navy, I was crossing North Atlantic. I could see a lieutenant commander with a ring on his finger. It was a Notre Dame ring. I said, hey, sir, did you go to Notre Dame? He said, yes. I said, you think I can go there? He said, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how that stuck in my brain, was absolutely. Yeah. So those thoughts from leaders, true leaders, a true leader will always give you that positive thought.
Well, Jarrett, I'm going to ask you to finish this thought and ask him, as an undrafted free agent, getting cut, getting and being undersold your entire life, this guy walked on 4 times at Notre Dame.
4 times.
And made the
one time.
Well, you finally did make it though.
I had to go to the junior college.
You had to, and you went to Holy Cross
Holy
too.
Cross.
Okay. Before
then,
that,
academically, I had to prove myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
because,
and this guy did kind of a different journey.
Yeah,
totally.
different.
But as an undrafted free agent, he ends up in the Super Bowl, and has a 9-year NFL career. What are guys like him watching this movie for everyone out there? That is such a true inspiration, isn't it, Jared?
For sure. Along the way, I think because it was such an inspirational movie, I think for someone like myself, that's something like if I'm feeling blue on a certain day, that's the type of movie that I watch.
Right, because it gave you 2 things, work ethic and getting better.
Right.
You know, it's interesting you say that, how Jared connected to this, whether he didn't care whether it was true, he connected to the message. Right? And there was a great basketball player by the name of Kobe Bryant who watched that movie, I don't know how many times, but he caught me at a basketball game, at a Lakers game, and he pointed me out saying, I'm his hero. And he said that in front of my son, in front of my daughter, and he said that movie made him realize if you work hard and get better each day, where are you going to be 20 years from now? So don't live in regret. And that's how I'm sure you were.
Yeah.
It's the same mindset. You got all the tools, you just got to work hard. I didn't have the tools, but I had the attitude of contribution. And that's another asset when you can have the attitude to contribute to a team. You didn't have to be the best, but contribute. You never know who you're going to inspire. I just had a Navy SEAL come up to me 2 weeks ago. I was in Washington, D.C. getting the Valor Award. And Marcus Luttrell comes up to me. He was one of the SEALs. He says, hey, man, he says, your movie put me back on track. Now, what if I would have quit trying to make that movie when I was out getting turned down, being shut down, being told to people that's a stupid idea? You stayed away from those people. You got around the people like a Gordy or someone who empowered your thoughts or someone who doesn't judge you. Say, yeah, you could do it. And you get around and you finally find that one person. It could just be an ordinary guy, a regular guy that gives you that power. Mailman gave me that power.
Yeah.
He believed in me, got me to the writer who stood me up, right? Because of that, if I would have sat in a restaurant feeling sorry for myself, not finding that mailman by saying something to the mailman, a positive thought, hey man, thanks for that smile, that one statement made him a believer in me because we connected spiritually.
Yeah.
I can't explain that. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't explain that. But when you connect like that, those people help you get to the next level. And you're looking at him saying, well, you're just a mailman. No, you're an angel. Right. He's going to take me to the guy that stood me up, right? Yeah. Now, Michigan State was a big deal in this movie. The guy who applied to Notre Dame got turned down by Notre Dame. He ends up at Michigan State as a walk-on. Now he's the president of Columbia Pictures. He loved the movie Hoosiers, so he brought the guys in from Hoosiers to see if they had another sports story. By the way, he only had $25 million to do the movie, right? Now think about this. If I would have sat in that restaurant, not saying, hey man, thanks for your smile, that guy from Michigan State, who's now the president of Columbia Pictures, would never heard of the movie story, never approved that story.
Yep.
And the guy who wrote it hated Notre Dame and did not want to do another sports story. but he ended up writing one of the best sports movies of all time.
Wow.
So
Well,
that's how it works.
And you know what? It is amazing how, and we both know this, and we're going to take a commercial break, but
Right.
how one person can affect
Your life.
someone's life with just a few kind words or a little bit of inspiration. We're going to have more with Rudy. Let's go, folks. Rudy. Coming up after the break. Daniel Ruettiger coming up on Locker Room. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Locker Room. That is the Lena 8-man football team, the runner-ups in the state of Wisconsin. Next year, boys, bring home the gold. Speaking of the gold, Notre Dame, Rudy, right? Every week we go in the locker room where we talk to a player. Time to go in the zone with Cameron is there, sponsored by Thornberry Creek and Oneida Nation.
Here with Packers offensive lineman Sean Ryan. Sean, I know that you got a couple offers from Alabama, Notre Dame, and some of those other big schools, but you chose to stay home in California, go to UCLA. How much does your home state mean to you?
A lot. I guess, home state's big, but it's also family. Being close to my mom and pop, that was kind of big. I say it's for them, but maybe it was for me too. But, it was nice, being able to go home. Or stay at home for college and then have them come up for the games and stuff. And, whenever I got some time off, they'd come up and see me, or I could just go home real quick. But it's real important.
How much did family influence your football career, just you getting into the game?
0.
Really?
Yeah, no one in my family ever played football. My pops, played it as a kid, but nothing, serious. We had a couple, family friends who played ball, but no one really seriously did. For us, but my parents were very supportive in whatever sport I decided to play. So I guess their support system was huge.
I love it. So what other sports did you play then?
Rugby, baseball. I threw shot and disc in high school too, but those were the main ones. Organized. Yeah.
Why did you gravitate toward football then?
That's how I was gonna get to college. Football. That's the main reason I was trying to play was to get my college paid for because. College is expensive, so it's without that, I don't think I would have been able to get there, but it seemed to work out.
You get that scholarship. How proud were your parents of you, and how proud were you to tell your parents, I have a scholarship, go to college to play football?
It was crazy. The first one I got was from South Carolina. I remember calling my pops and my mom, letting them know that I had college, covered. So I was real happy about it. I'm sure they were too. I look at them and think about all they sacrificed for me, and then all the money they dumped kind of into me, helped me. If I needed to, have a gym membership or need new cleats or whatever, they never second guessed that they got it, whether or not they could get it or not, or afford it or not. Was I never thought about that. Anything sports was you got it. Bat, glove, anything. So every time I look up there, it's I'm going to pay it back. I'm going to pay it back one way or another. So it gets me going.
All right, thank you, fellas. Now, I know you're a Packers fan. What do you think of this team right now? Guys like Sean Ryan, this offensive line, they got a lot of plug-and-play guys who, do you like this 8-3 team and this NFC North? Oh, my gosh.
They're a lot farther than we thought.
Yeah.
To be honest. And, football is a emotional game, and you never know who's going to win on that Saturday or that Thursday night or that Monday night. So, hey, anybody could win. That's my thought.
Yeah. Get after it, right?
Yeah, show up.
And look, and Jordan Love, there's a reason they gave him that contract. He's
Who's the guy who's his backup, though?
Shh, quiet.
Right.
Rudy, don't talk about that right now. We'll have more on Locker Room. We'll have our keys to the game. More with Mr. Daniel Ruettiger, the Rudy. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Locker Room. Time now for our keys to the game, brought to you by the dispensary contained to Tungavailoa. Thursday night Thanksgiving, run the football again. Could be a cold, sloppy night. Make those Miami boys feel the cold and ball hawk, right? Oh, yeah. You had an interception in the Super Bowl.
Get it.
Final thoughts with Rudy, Jarrett.
Rudy, if there's one thing that you would tell the kids in the audience, what's one thing that you would tell them?
And you got 20 seconds.
Okay, take away your entitlement and earn the merit. Earn your way.
Earn your way.
Earn your way.
Great word. Love that. Daniel Ruettiger, Rudy for Jarrett, Bert, Locker Room. See you next week.